so extra, but I know I'm the same.
Oh, what's up, everybody? What is up, y'all? So y'all already know what time it is. It is Thursday. It is movie night with the ladies, and we are continuing on from where we left off, which was with the New Edition story. So we're on part 2. How y'all feeling, ladies?
I'm good. I'm all good. What's up, y'all?
Hello, everybody. I'm hanging in there.
That's what's up. So I don't know how long ago it was when I looked at this originally, but how y'all feel looking at it again? Y'all still feel the same?
It definitely was like, I haven't watched this since when it first aired years ago. So I felt like I was kind of watching it for the first time again. Some things I was remembering, and some things I was like, oh, I forgot about this, but I kind of saw some of it coming, even without remembering. Some things you just kind of knew that was the way it was going to flow. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. So we got our girl Inga with us today. We haven't had her here in a minute. So glad to have her. Hold on, she's switching to her other stream. Give me a second. Let me bring her back in.
All right. Is that better? Okay.
That's better. Hey,
I'm telling you, the computer just decided, no, you ain't doing no live today. It shut down. I ain't had no microphone.
Now you know what we be going through, girl. That's what we be going through.
Right.
That's what happened to me yesterday. I told you I got locked out of my own thing.
Oh, Muchi, your hair is real cute, girl. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
So cute. I like it. All right, so yeah, it happens sometimes, but we're glad to have you with us, Miss Inga. We haven't seen you in a minute, so we're glad to have you back with us. So let's go to the chat real quick. Let's see who's all out here. So Rashonda, of course, she always show up early. That's what's up. Got my girl Candy Love is in the building. Kendall, hey Kendall, hey Derry, Lady Virtue. Let's see. All right. And I know it's some more people here, but they just haven't said hello, but that's all good. So we're going to go ahead and get into talking about the second part of the New Edition story. Now, we kind of left off, your boy was feeling a little away about having to do all the parts. And I mean, to be fair, I think at some point, a lot of artists go through this when they're in a group, go through this point where they want to be the main act. They don't want to be in a group no more. And it feels like that's kind of where he's at. So when we open up, they're doing their thing. Let me pull up my slides so I can.
Well, he didn't exactly felt like that in the beginning. He just didn't want. He felt like how much animosity that the other guys had towards him. So he didn't want to. He felt like they were getting jealous of him. Look at how they left him in the room and what they did the last episode. So that was on the backs of this where he like, you singling me out so much now, where now my fellow bandmates are resenting me.
Yeah. And this was all on the adult. This really had nothing to do with them, the group itself. But this type of stuff happens. So we're kind of going to see them in the studio in this part. And then, Mike is kind of going through this little awkward stage where, he's not hitting his notes correctly and all of this stuff. And then we're going to move straight to the drama, y'all. So they're going to get outside. And this is when Bobby, nobody wants to sit on the seat. They're just doing kid stuff. Yeah. And then Bobby just takes it too far, And I'm gonna play this. Give me 1 second.
Today just ain't your day. Hey man, you sound like a little bitch. Stop the car. Stop the car. Now who's the bitch, huh? Today just ain't your day. Hey man, you sound like a little bitch.
Total disrespectful.
He make me sick just like cocaine.
That's
total disrespectful.
Yeah, he make me sick just like
spitting in somebody's face. That's total. That's the total disrespect.
Yeah,
I don't care who
you do.
You don't spit on. You don't put no bodily fluids on me.
You
know what I mean? No urine, no spit, nothing. It just
that caused people to black out.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the worst thing you can do to somebody.
That's the very worst thing. Yeah.
That's the worst thing you can do to somebody is spit on them, and
Mhm.
it's gross. But so Bobby was calling him out, and that was my question I was about to go into. Do y'all think that that he was wrong for how he reacted? And what I'm talking about, Bobby is agitating. I will say that there are many times when he is very agitating, but I don't know if it called for the spit. How did y'all feel about that moment? Go ahead, Moochie. You go ahead and start.
That's the ultimate sign of disrespect. So a fight was going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
A fight was going to happen regardless, because that's just like that. Like I said, when you do something like that to somebody, that causes somebody to black out, where they beat the holy mess out.
Right. You might get the pow. Spitting on somebody.
You might get the pow. He got body slammed, but he ain't even get a 2-piece and a biscuit. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, he was wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so then we're gonna move on. Basically, so now we're deciding whether or not he's gonna stay in the group. And Bobby speaks up and it's like, nah, he's not gonna stay in the group. Why did it always feel like Gary was always trying to kick people out? I'm like, dude, like that's always your main go-to. Let's just get him out. Like you don't want to know keep on.
Good, he was been trying to do that from the beginning. I ain't like him. It kept giving me the racist undertones. I was getting sick of him.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
He wanted to kick him out so he could get a bigger slice of the pie that he already was getting.
Yeah, he was a snake. He was definitely a snake.
Definitely a snake. So I liked how they kind of banded together in this situation. And then when we get to the later situation, I want to come back and ask you guys to kind of compare these two situations and tell me what you thought about.
Yeah, it made me laugh when he said he tried to kill me, but did he?
Exactly.
But see, it make you have a love-hate relationship with him.
Oh yeah.
And this is the moment where you love him.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely a love-hate relationship with this guy, for real. Now y'all, I might skip through some parts and stuff like that. So if I missed anything that's major, just let me know. I always try to capture the major stuff. There's going to be a point when Bobby is going to get arrested. And this is when we're really going to see Gary going in. Like, he really had a lot of things to say. And I want to kind of, let me see if I can find, if I have the clip, I'll play it. Let me see.
This now. Label already signed off.
And hold on. That's not it.
Yeah, that's too far ahead.
That's not the one. Okay, I guess it didn't come over. So there's gonna be a part where basically, and I have these labeled.
What the part where she say, you don't know who he is?
No, not that part. Not when he actually gets arrested, but when Gary is going off on the bus and he's talking about how Bobby's giving him this, that, and the third, his ulcers and all this stuff. And then he starts to really be derogatory, saying that Bobby needs to go to jail. He needs to be in juvenile. And it just got out of control. What did y'all think about how Gary is reacting to Bobby? Because Bobby is still a teenager at this point. Like, that's what I think he just keeps forgetting. Inga, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, all of them were teenagers at this point. And but he's not thinking about them like the way Brooke was. Brooke looked at them as their sons, and he showed them love and everything. But this was just money for Gary. He didn't care really about them at all. So he could kick Bobby out. It could have been Michael the next week. It could have been Ralph another week. He really didn't care. And he would have just replaced him with somebody else. And he was just about making money. So he wasn't thinking that they were teenagers. And they've been on the road since they were little kids. And, he was just quick to just dismiss them,
Exactly. Tamika, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Inga said it well. At the end of the day, he didn't care about that. It was all about money, and he didn't look at them as teens or boys. He, like society most times. To him, he a man. To him, he trash. He just like, we can get rid of him. He's always in something. He's not going to change. He can't get no better. Everything he said about him was negative. And at this point, the only one he was really treating like they was quote unquote star was Ralph. He really act like, you know, they was all expendable. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's going to be a point where we're going to meet one of my favorites, which is Mr. Johnny Gill. Moochie, how do you feel about Johnny? What do you think about Johnny? Your first impressions?
My first impression with Johnny, I was like, yo, look at his hair, because I remember when his hair was like this. I remember all that, and then I was like, even though like the way his dress was, but he was such a humble guy though. That's what I liked most about him.
That's what's up. Tamika, what you think about Johnny when you first? What was your first impressions of this guy?
I always liked Johnny, but just full disclosure, I didn't necessarily like him when he first joined New Edition, but I liked him as a solo artist, and I liked him with Stacey Ladishaw. I was kind of thrown off when he first joined them.
Yes,
keeping
me
it
too.
real.
Me too.
But you know
me
what?
Too.
I wasn't thrown off. I was thrown off because you know when, remember they albums kind of dropped at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that My Prerogative album?
Yeah.
That album that when he got on dropped at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So music I was enjoying.
Yeah. I mean, like, once he started with them and they did what was the song? Oh God, why can't I remember it now? Can You Stand the Rain?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they killed that. It was like all of it came together. But just my first, like when he first got, I think I just was used to it being, you know, Dumb, Bobby, all of them together.
Yeah.
And I was just mad about them breaking up. That was like my initial first response. I can remember it like yesterday.
But
then once they got
a while
in there,
since they broke up though. Because remember Bobby Brown came out with that first album with Cameo. Like with the guy from Cameo. I remember all this because I had his posters on my wall. So and that was
I know I remember I know I remember because Johnny Gill's from Northeast DC.
Yeah.
And I used to see Stacey Ladishaw around. I saw her more than I saw him.
Wow.
But he was around. And especially like at the carnivals, the local carnivals, you would see them come around. But I'm with Tamika. I was like, oh heck no, because I've been with New Edition from the very
it wasn't never that he couldn't sing. We know he could sing.
No, I liked him with Stacey Ladishaw, Perfect Combination, and all of them. So I liked them together, but I didn't see him. I couldn't see the vision. That's why I guess why I'm going there. I'm a teenager too, just like them. I'm the same age with them, so I didn't see the vision and see them together. But then later on, I said, oh, okay, I see what's going on. You know, they trying to transition from little boys to men, no pun intended, to the song and the group and all that. But that I see it later. But and at first I was like, I wouldn't accept it. I was like, no, he ain't no Edition. He just featuring or something like that. Like he ain't no Edition. It's these dudes here. You know?
That's what's up. What's up, Brillo? Like thank you for coming through. Appreciate you.
Hey, Brillo.
That's crazy. I can't believe y'all see
he was real, and he is real country acting too. Like he real country dressing and acting. That was how how he was in days. I mean, I don't know how he is now, but that's how he was. Yeah, so he didn't really fit in with them at that time.
That's how I felt. Inga summed that up perfectly. And it wasn't nothing against them, but I just felt like, how the heck they gonna put them in here with him?
Did I lose my slides? Oh, hold on. What did I do? Okay. I'm sorry. I was talking to myself because I thought I had lost my slides. Like they're just doing something weird. Okay. That's what's up though. Like seriously, I'm sorry, y'all lost my train of thought. But so let's move to Bobby. Bobby has a baby. So the chick that he was in the car with earlier, that he was joyriding with, Malika, he has a baby and he names him Landing. And we hear the story of why he does this. But I think what I loved about this particular moment, y'all, was the fact that they fight, but they are family at the end of the day. And families fight.
Absolutely.
And,
of course.
but they still, have that love for each other. And you see them come together right here to be there for Bobby, So talk
Absolutely.
about the dynamics of family as it relates to the group, Tamika, and how you felt when you saw this.
Yeah, I like this part too. I was smiling at it because they fight like cats and dogs, but then it's like, Uncle gonna teach you how to play basketball, and you gonna know how to dance, and we all around and gather, and of course Gary gotta ruin the moment and be negative, and Ralph is dealing with his own situation, which they don't really know about. So of course he feels a way about what Gary's saying, but just
Yeah.
them being surrounding him, I love that part.
I'm with you, Tamika. Gary was on. He was on the little racist tip. You know what I'm saying? I don't even, but that's the music business. A lot of them are racist. They just making money on the backs of black people anyway. A lot of them are racist. So yeah, he was foul.
Exactly. And we're definitely going to talk about how foul he actually was, because that was crazy. It's just so crazy how so many artists got so bamboozled, and some of them don't get the chance to have the longevity that New Edition would end up having, like being able to come back around and make money, even though we would learn that, but that's next. We'll talk about that later. But you know what I mean? Like, they were able to at least come back and get some money. But what if you were that person that had that one hit, you know what I'm saying? And that was your one chance, and somebody screwed you out of, like, oh God, it's just, I hate when artists go through this type of stuff. But it's the thing about being excited and just signing stuff and not knowing, and you can't really be mad at the artists because they don't know. But now artists nowadays, they know better because they already there's been a blueprint that tells you that's not what you
Yeah,
do,
the
so
story has repeated way too many times.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
And some people's story is even worse than New Edition. If you start digging into some of them old groups, they a lot of them went through it.
But you know what
Yeah.
though? I don't want to jump ahead, but I feel like he was given he was given guidance so he could get himself out of that situation because of the guy from MCA, and that's what I loved about that. Because he was like, you know what, let me pull your coattail so you could get rid of this guy because you don't need him.
Gotcha. Yeah. I
Mhm.
thought that was dope too,
So,
that he actually was straight up with him. You know what I'm saying? So this is that part I was talking about when we were, I think this was I was talking about this part. Yeah, I had jumped ahead because he had two times when he got in trouble. So this was the second time when he got in trouble. When the second time is when right after he has the baby, he's over here getting fellatio, and he over here doing everything.
He was
And
off
wild.
of Rick James, ain't that something? Off of Rick James, give it to
okay,
me.
because it sure was.
Hey,
It sure was
Yes.
playing.
the
Uh-huh.
cocoa and
That was
everything,
wild.
the cocoa and everything, like just like Rick James. So was he partying with Rick
Monique
James?
69.
This is what made me think that. Was he with Rick James? Was he
When they
partying
toured
with
with Rick James when they were young,
Did he get them girls from Rick James?
maybe.
You never
Give
know.
it to
It wasn't
me.
a big deal to mess with a younger girl at that time, or older woman, or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
When that
And
time,
then
nobody
they was,
frowned upon it.
I know they mentioned like two different times that they was bringing home Soul Train girls. I'm sure it was a lot of other ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Yeah, it wasn't no
for
big deal
sure.
at that time. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well, you
It
remember the
really
Soul
makes
Train
sense.
girls wasn't getting paid nothing but chicken.
exactly. Yeah.
Ooh.
You talk all right. They gonna go home
Yeah,
with
they
go
got
to
a
the
2-piece
hotel, go to the Mosey Wosey
Kentucky
with
Fried
New
Chicken.
Edition.
They got a 2-piece Kentucky Fried Chicken dinner for during the Soul Train.
True. Of course they
Yeah.
gonna go to the Mosey Wosey with New Edition.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would have too.
That's crazy.
Mm.
Ooh, that's crazy. Okay, y'all. So history
bad.
is about to repeat itself again, and then we got rid of Brooke because we thought that he didn't know how to handle the financial side of it. And even though Brooke wasn't proficient in that particular part of it, what Brooke brought to the group was the love that he had for them and the true genuineness to make sure that they were safe. For crying out loud, his nephew was a part of this group. He would do no harm to them on purpose. Like, he wouldn't go into it trying to hurt them. But they took that away and they put this man in there. We know why they did it. And we know, the exact reason and what they were thinking. But turns out he he didn't come through either. And then he had the nerve to actually try to get fly, y'all. Like I said, bro, you don't fool around and get cut
But
up in here playing around.
I don't think Brooke was even handling the finances in the first place. So I don't understand the mother's all jumping on his neck because he wasn't dealing with the finance. He was the manager managing the boys, but not dealing with the money. That's two different things.
And he told them that.
Exactly. He's told them
he
that.
wasn't getting no money.
That.
He wasn't getting a dime himself. He wasn't making no money.
He was using his own money actually to for different things.
Make sure they was all right. Make sure they ate all of that.
Went to school.
Yeah, they didn't understand. They should have really had a lawyer from the get-go. And I remember when we did last week's episode, I said that they probably thought, oh, this is a white man, so it's gonna be more professional, and we're gonna have the money. Of course, he was promising them everything under the sun.
A Jew white man. That's what a lot of people think. That's a lot of people think. You know what I'm saying? So
here he come with the same bull.
Oh, he
come out with all these old.
He might have been worse.
Yeah, I said it was gonna be on a bigger scale, the same thing, but on a bigger scale. He's talking about, y'all wanted all the flashing lights, because remember he was telling them that they wasn't rappers, they shouldn't have all of that stuff, and I laughed because I know
that's true. But only Gary should have sat down with explain that. Like he should have sat down, really made them sit down and explain that not just in conversation. He should have just
he wasn't trying to explain nothing. And he made me laugh. I know they were saying that a lot back then, but I laughed at the part where he said hip hop's not gonna be around long anyway.
I know he's thinking everything now. But I was saying, he did them dirty. He did them real dirty, and they thought it was gonna be so different because of that. But I'm glad that the MCA guy helped him get out of that situation, as well as Brooks. Brooks told them that he's not in charge of the money. Even he fought to even stay on, and they just dismissed everything. And meanwhile,
MCA didn't do right by New Edition either, though. So everyone screwed New Edition.
Yeah,
even MCA didn't do right by Gerald Busby, and he ain't do right.
Did y'all notice in the scene where they was talking about her clothes, and they was saying, "How we y'all getting all y'all money from? Because every time I see you, you got a new outfit on." With Bobby's mother. That's what all of that was coming in from the
unless money was being sent to the mothers and they spend it, and you can't even blame the mothers or anybody. You are poor, you living on food stamps, WIC, all the stuff, you in the project, and someone offer you a little bit of something, you ain't even thinking about, you just sign your name, not thinking.
Yeah, that $500 went a long way for them.
For a long way for them. And that's 1980 or whatever like that. So that was a lot of money at that time. Exactly. They could buy a whole Christmas and a whole bunch of stuff for everybody. $500 back then. And so I Kendall said Bobby's mom worked my nerves. And she did. Yeah. And she
was working my nerves sometimes. I said, Bobby get a little bit of that from her.
Yeah, exactly. She did work my nerves. But I blame the record labels, all of them, from Morgan Star all the way to MCA, all of them up. They the ones who screwed these little kids. They the ones that did wrong. So
and that is exactly what they were. These were children when they started out. They started getting screwed over way back with Maurice. You know what I'm saying? Like it was horrible. And Brooke truly was the only person who had their best interests at heart. Now we're gonna end up seeing where, of course, after the mamas get on his behind, he has to come back asking Gary for not Gary. He has to what's his name? What's the CEO of the MCA Records? I can't think of his name.
Gerald Busby.
Gerald. I knew it was who started with a G, but I can't think of it. Anyway, he's gonna have to come back and ask him for cash, because he needs to be able to come up with some money in order to calm these women down at the end of the day. So he's like, look, I need some cash. And he ends up giving them the cash. But we also see that at the same time, Ralph is going through something because he's going to find out out that, you know, his girl has lost their baby. And his mom is like, hey, come home, but he won't come home. So talk to me about okay, so I feel like Ralph made sacrifices for sure when it came to this group. Talk about his sacrifices and what y'all thought about Gary trying to get this money, y'all, and now trying to get the money. You can go ahead and start, Inga, and then we'll go up.
Oh yeah, Ralph sacrificed from day one till now, probably. I mean, he's always sacrificed for this group, and he, you know, and Gary could have been sliding the mother some money, and the mothers, you know, using the back clothes and doing, you know, they had other children too, so they could have been used to take care of the family. But the mothers, but the problem is they wasn't getting enough to get them out of the projects. So you might have been sliding them a couple of $100, but that's not enough to get them out of the project. So they still was really not doing anything for the families. But definitely Ralph, he was holding in so much stuff, you know. So
yeah, for sure. Tamika, what did you think about this whole situation with Ralph, you know, losing the baby, and then this whole Gerald situation, getting the money from Gerald to give to the family?
As far as Ralph, he definitely was making sacrifices, and I felt bad hearing that she lost the baby. He wants to be there, and I loved his mom telling him, you know, you got to stand up, you got to take responsibility. I'm sure she's gonna understand because she's always been understanding, but you should be with, you know, here with her. And I think she had just lost her mom, like, you know, last year she was mentioning. So this is a lot of loss. And he got to be out here because he got his obligations to that as well. So I was feeling bad for him with that part. With Gary, every time Gary opened his mouth, child, I just want to jump through that TV and slap him. He was being so racist, just outright. And even though they was like making jokes about it, he's literally saying how he don't want to go on the project. He's scared he's gonna get stabbed. And Gerald was like, I'm surprised you didn't. From what I heard, you know, the mothers was getting on you. So he's like saying he want to get them out of there so he won't have to visit there anymore. It wasn't even about them. I just was disgusted.
They should have stabbed his behind.
Yeah, right. Everybody should have just gathered around and took turns.
Okay.
That part was pissing me off.
What you got any thoughts on this one, Moochie?
Yes, I do. With him getting that Benz, he got like the top model Benz. So you was jerking them the whole time, and you got like this car and they're in the projects. It's really jacked up. And then with Ralph losing the baby, he has made a lot of sacrifices. He sacrificed the solo career from the get-go, because that's what Maurice Starr wanted to do. He figured he'd take them and then jerk them all. It was just jacked up.
Yeah, when you actually hear, because I loved New Edition, but of course I didn't know all of their backstories. And when you know, all these years later, you hear about all these little things that happen, you're like, dang, that's what was going on. Like, that's what really happened. So I don't know. I just think it's a pretty interesting story. Let me go to the chat real quick, y'all. Let's see. He wasn't scared to go to the project, so they would make him manager of the group, The Nerves. Okay.
Exactly. He wasn't. He walked up in there eating their food, all of this other nonsense.
Yeah, he was up there eating the collard greens and the chicken and all that.
Talking about, I don't know what vegetable this is, but
robbing
it's good.
Blind.
Exactly.
Robbing the blind and eating their food. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Exactly. Absolutely ashamed of himself. Okay, y'all. So let's talk about this other big moment in the story. So there's going to be, of course, the group is going to be performing, and we've all heard the stories about how Bobby likes to, you know, be a little extra, get a little extra time and stuff like that. He does that this particular night. How did y'all feel about this? Because Moochie, you talked about a love-hate relationship between, you know, with Bobby. In this moment, where was you on the scale? Was you on the love or the hate?
He was being a jerk. I thought he was being real messed up to them. And then he was being real extra. How you going to carry this song on this long? And, I mean, you only got one song. I mean, you going to sing it forever?
Yeah. He wasn't being a team. He wasn't being a team player. That's
No,
for
he
sure.
wasn't.
Much as I loved me some Bobby back in the day, I thought he was. I thought he was my boyfriend in my head anyway. He was my boyfriend in my head. But no, you can see that he was being a jerk. I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
for
was
sure.
real disrespectful.
So
Monique
selfish.
Johnson said he was being a dick.
He
Yes,
really
he
was.
was.
No,
It
that's
was-
right.
he was just being disrespectful, selfish.
All of the above. So there's going to be this moment now where this is what I was talking about earlier. So now we got this whole situation go down, and Gary takes this moment right here to he and this is what I didn't like about Gary, even though I get that Bobby was being a jerk, but like we talked about earlier, families fight. They're kind of used to going through this with Bobby. And I do understand that there is a time when you just get absolutely tired of something. But at the end of the day, I know that when it's all said and done, everybody had their own journey and their own path to take. I get that. And that this was probably necessary in order for him to go on his path and all the things that would happen. You know what I'm saying? But I still felt a way about Gary pumping this, like about him trying to push them to kick Bobby out of the groove. What do you think about it, Moochie? What you think?
I thought it was foul.
It was
Because
foul.
that was like a hard decision for them boys to make. Because like they said, if it wasn't for him, they would have never started this group. So you telling them to kick this person to the curb, and if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't have this with the fame that they have, because they don't have money. They have the fame.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So yeah, I know they were feeling a kind of way. It was a gut wrenching decision that they had to make.
Hey,
no,
every girl had their favorites. Some love Mike, some love Ralph, Bobby.
Yeah.
Every girl had favorites, with their posters on the wall. And
When we was doing the when we was talking about it last week, I was saying me and my cousin.
I wanted to be with y'all last week, but I was
I liked Michael Bivins.
This week it was Bobby. Next week it was Ronnie. The next week it was Ralph. We took turns. We was like, "Girl, he mine."
I wasn't into Ronnie back in the day because he had a jury curl. And I wasn't into the jury curl. So I wasn't into him, but I loved all the other ones. They was all my boyfriends in my brain. They didn't know it, but I knew it. We were dating. You know what I'm saying? So,
we was dating.
You couldn't tell me when I was 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. These wasn't my men. So and I went to all the concerts. Every time they came to DC, I was here. Me and my girlfriend, my best friend Angie, we was running to the concerts. Yeah, so
I saw them at a skating ring, but I didn't like that. That's when I saw them, they wasn't big like that. Like I said last week,
when I first saw them, they wasn't big either, and then they became big. I saw them the first time, they wasn't big. It was I
didn't see them after that.
Suburbia said Bobby had to go. He was disruptive. It was the way in which
he had to go, but he definitely was disruptive.
Yeah, he was. There was no.
I just didn't like that.
There.
I understood, what they had to do, and this was the path they had to go down to get to where they got to. But just the way Gary always was the middleman, and feeding the stuff into them. And at one point, he even tried to be like, "Oh, Ralph," and get Ralph on his side. And Ralph was like, "Nah, this is us as a group." And they had to keep telling Gary, "You're not a part of this." They kept trying to put him in his place.
Yeah. And did y'all see the similarities between the way Gary did, the way that they kicked him out, and the way they also kicked out David Ruffin and the Temptations?
Yes.
It's almost, David Ruffin was acting out and cutting up and everything, and they was like, "Look, you got to go." You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. You got to go.
They said nobody bigger than the group, and I guess that's the same way with the New Edition. Nobody's bigger than no one.
Right, because that's really what Brooke told them from the beginning. This is all of y'all together. Once one thinks he's bigger, is a wrap.
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
But you know why this thing got out of hand like this, though? Because they let this man get in charge, and he did not know these kids. He did not know them. He didn't care about them. And Brooke,
because Brooke wasn't involved during this time.
Place when they got out of line.
Yeah, during this
Mhm.
time, Brooke wasn't around. So
And
And
when
you
he
see
said
they
what
had
he said, Brooks did what he did. He
Mhm.
said,
Mhm.
all you do is teach them how to dance. You see how
Right.
he minded his business when Bobby stormed out of there.
that's right.
Exactly.
Eddie Kane too. That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They got
Because
together and they just said,
they brung Brooke back in at one point, but Gary wanted to go out his way to be like, "Oh, you're just here to teach them about dance. I do the managing." He like, "I got you. You go ahead and do it."
I felt
he
bad
didn't
for
want that headache anyway. Brooke didn't want that headache to make it. No, he didn't want
Ricky was crying when they made that decision.
that.
He didn't want to. They all didn't want to do it.
No, they love Bobby. Regardless, they just wanted
Yeah.
Bobby to just chill out, but they love Bobby.
And they tried
Yeah.
to talk to him, and he didn't listen. That whole
Yeah.
conversation on the
Exactly.
bus. Look, we
On the
all
bus.
do our dirt, but you got to be a little bit more quiet with yours, like how we
Yeah,
are
because
with ours.
trust me, it wasn't just Bobby doing drugs and sleeping with all the
Exactly.
women. They
Oh,
all
It
were
was
doing
Ricky
it.
too. That's why he did the
All
thing
of
with
them were doing
alcohol.
something. Yeah, all of them were doing
Absolutely.
something, and
Yeah.
Bobby was just out of control with his. You know.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah. So let's move to another major pivotal part in the story is when Mike, he starts to ask questions. So
I had that
he's
out.
talking and he's asking questions, and he sees the album and he says Gary's name is not on here anywhere. Then he sees something else. And he's like, who the heck is this? And this is when he's going to storm in and he is demanding answers from Gerald. Like he wants to know what is going on. Let me see. I got a little bitty piece of this. And then we're going to talk about production deals.
It's called a production deal. You're signed to him, he's signed to us.
And I thought we was a part of the MCA Universal family, man. Or is that just something you tell kids that just come into your office?
Next question.
Gerald, why would he do that to us?
It happens
Okay,
all
yeah.
the time.
Definitely.
Happens all the time.
Yes, production deals suck. I mean, it's horrible. And I would think that if you were the one who had the production deal, like why not just be honest with them and just tell them? Like it seems like that would be the better route. And it just seems so grimy and snakish for you to keep that from them. Like you never know what they would have said had you have been honest with them. They might have still signed to you. Who knows? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like we really don't know, but you didn't give them the opportunity or the chance was, one of the biggest issues. And this is when we start to see Mike's mind kind of shift from, just being an artist to more of the
management or whatever. Yeah.
You want to know the
Yeah.
business now. And he
Now
got
he
his
wants
first
to
lesson there.
Yeah, Gary was a snake. Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely a snake, y'all. Like he was
This
doing
happens
the most.
all the time. And because what they do is they put that stuff in fine print and they use all this legal mumbo jumbo that you can't understand. It's not in plain everyday English that you can understand. So this way you really do have to have a lawyer,
Just like Q-Tip said it. Record Rule 3080, record company people are shady.
Yeah, I didn't see that
Yeah.
one. But yeah, I mean, they are shady. I mean, it is what it is. But I was happy that Gerald just told him the truth because he didn't have to, but he just gave it to him and laid it out to him straight. So now he's going to go back and tell the group, of course. And I want to say wasn't it Ralph who was like, let's just wait it out. Like we only got a few more years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Ralph who said that. I can't remember. You remember?
It was Ralph.
But they were signed to whatever that deal, MCL, whatever that production deal for years, a long time. It took them years to get out of that.
Shows and stuff like that to get out of that deal because it stopped that guy's money. Remember when they had that whole meeting and they was talking about Mr. Shows and stuff like that, and I don't know if they did that, but it was a while before they actually went through it because they was trying to get out the project.
It took a long time. I mean, they were full grown adults, long time before they got out that.
They made an album for a while because you had Bobby Brown made that album, Telephone Man.
But you know who helped them get out of that deal was
88.
Diddy helped them get out of that deal when they said they did one album with Bad Boy, and Diddy paid off or whatever he did worked out something with MTA and all that business. It took them all those years for them to get out of that contract. That was like almost like a
that
lifetime
album,
contract.
and he did Dumb Dirty too.
Well, he did them, but it was only supposed to be a 1 album deal. But still, he do everybody did.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you know, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, we can do it.
Okay, yeah. So, so here we are. You know, Mike is ready to give it to him. Like he's been waiting on this. He's been waiting on this moment to let Gary know, because it feels like they've always kind of bumped heads, whereas everybody else has kind of been like a little tame with Gary. It feels like Mike has always been vocal, you know, try to be vocal as much as he could. And so this was his moment, you know, and Gary's sitting up there looking crazy. But what's so baffling to me is that how could you look at these children, look at where they're living, look at their life, and you're just sucking everything out of them? And every time I think about this dude, I just wish he was somewhere I could choke him. But what do you think about how Mike was able to fire him? How did you think about the firing part of it? Did you like it, or did you think they should have did it worse? Like, should have sent some goons after him. What you think, Inga?
I mean, he did it very classy. He did it very classy, and he ordered a steak and all that. What he ordered, steak, a lobster, or something on his tab or something. So he did it very classy. But Michael Rappaport, who played this role, he got a face that you just want to choke his tail anyway. You know, he just gets on my nerves.
You still mad at him from Higher Learning?
Yeah, I am. Every time I see him, I think Higher Learning. I'll be like, I just want to.
Yeah,
because he killed Danger. Y'all remember
that? A lot of black movies, though. He's playing a lot of black movies. But Gary got a punchable face. I agree, Monique. That's what I want. That's what I was trying to say. You know, but Mike did it very classy. You know, he could have got the goons on them and beat them up in the street and all that, but he did it the right way.
Yeah, he did it the right way.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. So let's talk about another major pivotal moment in the episode, or in this particular episode too. It was when Ralph decides that, you know, it's time for me to go solo. I'm ready to go solo. And he actually plays them the song. I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't really feeling that song, but you know, it wasn't. Okay, for 1 second, child. What did y'all really think about his solo album when he went? I only had one song. I was like, this ain't no new edition. Like, Sensitivity was it for me.
No, he had some good songs on that album. I didn't like every song.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the song he was playing.
That song was horrible, but I was just thinking about what y'all think about the whole album.
I remember liking it. I remember playing it at that time.
I had the cassette.
I don't think that was the Sensitivity album. Too. That was something else.
Oh no, not this. Not this. But I'm
no. That's it. Do what I gotta do. Sensitivity. Those
do what I gotta do. Yeah, those two. Those two.
Do that. Yeah, I had the cassette, and I only would play them two songs, and I ain't play the other songs.
Yeah, I had the cassette too.
I was just trying to see if it was just me.
I think everybody always thought that Ralph could do a single album. Like they expected it to be big, because even here we see they was telling him since he was little that he could have his solo album. So I remember
him to be the Michael Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody can't do that. It's only one Michael. There's only one Beyonce or somebody that who can break off and do their own thing. You know, everybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So
even his girlfriend was getting on him too, and he was getting frustrated with her. He kept saying, "I'm in the works or something." But I hated this part with them arguing and the way he went off on them. I got that it was built up frustration from a long time. So that's why
it was years. It was years of built up frustration. Yeah. And they didn't have coping skills. They just fight each other. They just fist you know, like brothers do. You know,
trying to hit below the belt and hurt each one worse than
Exactly. And even though I understood where Ralph was coming from, him wanting to do his solo thing or whatnot, I still feel like with everything that was going on with them just now, kind of trying to get the money side of it right, it did kind of feel like the bad timing for him to do this solo thing. And, you know, at the end of the day, he knows that the group, well, we know that they didn't need him when it was all said and done, when it all boiled down to, but on a certain level, he felt like they needed him. So if you knew that and y'all are supposed to be brothers, why let everybody keep pumping you up? Because that girlfriend was getting on my nerves in that one scene, y'all. I was like, girl, if you don't sit down somewhere, like she talking about how Bobby got this and that. Bobby was meant to be solo.
She was
meant
nagging,
to be solo.
just nagging, like it you know, in his ear. That didn't help.
Yeah, because she
wasn't
talking about,
she wasn't supportive. She was just nagging.
She kept bringing up Bobby Brown and who he working with and how his song is being thumped in the clubs and
how you think that make him feel?
Because that's when they came out with that old school album when they was doing music from the 50s, which you know it was that guy's idea.
Exactly. And that was another issue that they had because it was like they didn't want them to grow up. They wanted them to stay kids. They had him shaving, you know, don't want to have no mustache. And we want you to stay like you babies. And it's like, we not babies. We growing into men. Their voices was changing. They going through all different kind of changes. They having kids. And he don't want none of this because he's like, little girls watching you. Okay, but we're growing. We ain't going to stay the same way. So that was another issue too.
Exactly. Shout out to Savannah, always coming through. Appreciate all the super chats.
She always coming through.
Appreciate you, man. But yeah, they definitely didn't want them to grow up. So, you know, this whole thing happens, and then he's going to end up going to see Gerald, but Gerald's going to play him too. You know, he's like, look, do this album, and then after that, you know, this is definitely going to help with your solo career and yada yada yada. And I was like, bro, like, I get that you wanted to go to your brothers first, but it felt like you probably should have went to the person who was going to make the final decision first and then came back, because it felt like it put this unnecessary tension. But once again, all of these things happen for a reason, because then we don't get what, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I know, but this one of my favorite songs was Can You Stand the Rain? And I'm telling you, I don't know what New Edition, to me, I don't know how it was. I loved all the other stuff, don't get me wrong, but for me, this was the turning point in New Edition. Like, it was something different. It was like,
because they were transitioning from the boys to men, this sound. So they did needed Johnny. Even though I see now how the puzzle all fits together.
Right.
Mika at the beginning, my first reaction, and I'm following them since 12 or 13 years old, and then all of a sudden, boom, this dude pops in the group like, who the heck is you? Where you come from? You know what I'm saying? I knew who Johnny Gill was, but I'm saying, but you didn't belong in this group, you know. So it took a minute.
Yeah, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis was perfect producers to come in and work with them. They had the right, you know, vision.
Well, you see what they did for Janet Jackson. So
absolutely,
and took her career to another level. So, it was the perfect fit.
Absolutely.
Perfect fit.
They structured their album saying that they wanted to grow from boys to men. That was so cool because they was trying to get out of that box for so long. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis was on the same page as them.
Exactly. But you know, so we get our boy Johnny in here, right? But then they actually don't tell Ralph about it. You know, they show him better than they can tell him, is the way that I like to say.
That wasn't right either.
It wasn't
right, but he to me, I feel like they forced his hand.
Yeah,
he forced their hand because he was trying to act like, y'all can't do nothing without me, and go model, and you talking beneath them because he was being put up on a pedestal for so long.
This time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and he really wasn't expecting to even come back to them. Really, he thought he was going to be able to just go do that solo album, and so Jimmy was like, "You're still under contract."
You're right, because had that solo album blew up, he came back to No Edition. He would have did just like what Bobby was doing.
And that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, had it blown up, he wouldn't have came back to No Edition. The only reason why is because it didn't do that well.
So let me ask y'all this.
It wasn't a flop, but it didn't do as well as he expected it to do.
Yeah, and per
let me
this
ask
movie,
y'all this question.
Go ahead.
Do you think that if Bobby Brown's mother didn't call the record company to get to have them bring him back, do you think that the solo deal with Ralph would have happened? Like pop, like how Bobby Brown's career is, or do you think he doesn't have the charisma?
I just don't think that he was meant to be a solo
No,
artist.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say he don't have
the personality. Like
I
Bobby.
wouldn't say that he don't. I
And the
think he didn't
charisma.
have the right people behind him. We know a lot of people that can sing their behinds off, but they don't have the right. I don't know what
That's
is
true
the
too. It might
producers,
be a
musicians.
little bit of both.
Yeah, it'd be
it might be a mixture.
and then it'd be some other people that ain't all of that, but they be up at the top. So
Because
I'm
remember
just
that
saying.
Bobby was never a fantastic singer. He had the charm and charisma. He could dance. Ralph, on the other hand, was the singer, but he had a flat person, sort of flat personality. So I think that's if he had what Bobby had plus the singing, and he would have took off.
Oh yeah, because it's the difference in being an entertainer and just being a singer. And that's why I always look at like Beyonce, Michael Jackson. They got both, the best of both worlds. When you can put on a show, when you can actually entertain people and you can sing and you have the vocals, like that's like the best of both worlds. But it was almost like you were saying, like Ralph didn't have that he was missing that piece, and that's where the group came in. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to do all that because the group made up for all that.
But Tamika might be right too. That if he had, or maybe Moochie said, if he had the right team behind him, say if he had Jimmy Terry Lewis or whoever behind him, Teddy Riley or somebody behind, maybe his thing would have been different. It just
I think sometimes that makes a big difference too. You see a lot of people that can blow, but they just seem like they may have one hit here and there, but it don't be like, where it's booming. Like you may see some other people that don't really have one of that. We've seen it through the years.
Yeah.
What?
And now Ralph is the late night DJ for this slow jam station, and every time he got a chance, he slipped Sensitivity into the rotation. Really? I didn't even know that. Well, I love Sensitivity and Do What I Gotta Do.
Yeah, I used to run that in the ground.
Me too.
Okay.
I ran in the ground.
It's a couple of songs that I liked from that solo album.
It's a couple. It's a couple songs on there. It's not the entire album, but
he was on the soundtrack of More Money.
Yeah,
it was a good soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that's a great jam. Yeah, that's a good jam too.
Can't buy me love.
Yeah,
That was
look, I just saw them back in April when they was on their tour and they stopped in Baltimore. And I'm gonna tell you, he did them songs. All of them did their group songs, and then they all did their solo things. And Ralph killed it. I mean, everybody was screaming. You know what I mean? I thought that was 15 years old.
They all, like I said, they all bring a different element. That's why I thought this song was so perfect, because it showed that even when it came to Ricky, was it Ricky? Yeah, Ricky. Yeah. You saw a different side of him. It brought something out of him in this song. Ralph had his moment. Johnny had his moment. So it was like everybody was able to blend in and just show that different aspect.
Oh, something. I wasn't with y'all I wasn't with y'all on part one, but I know y'all already talked about this. But something, everybody screwed this group over, because you go back to Maurice, he was screwing them over real bad too.
Yeah, look how he ended up screwed over the Backstreet Boys and all of them.
But he didn't screw over them white boys. You never heard the white boys.
He was part of that.
He ain't
doing Mike. He did them though. You right about that.
Okay. Because I never really heard.
Because the other guy, he really did them on them. That's why they had that whole video with the puppet strings and all that other stuff.
Yeah, because what was it? New Kids on the Block, right? Yeah,
no, that was Instinct that did that.
Yeah, that was never but a white version of New Edition.
Yeah, but they saw. But
they sold more money than New Edition. They sold more albums. They had lunch boxes and a fan club.
They took out the boy. They took out the remember. Nobody. This is what they said when they said they had to do groups like this because nobody wanted black teenagers on their walls. Yeah, that's what was that. So when they came out with the boy bands, that basically kind of like,
but they don't want
them
to see the
down.
white girls with black, you know.
Exactly,
If
that too.
their
That too, and
fathers don't want to walk into the
and
room and
black
their
and
daughter
white
got a white
girls
boy
in
on the
awe
ball.
over them.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
still happening to this day.
It's still happening today. Yeah.
They like the basketball players, the athletes, the rappers, all of them.
All of them.
Mhm.
Let me see. I think I had
And one
another
thing
clip
about this
too.
movie that I did like is that when they did these scenes and the videos, they made everything was just like how it was. The album covers and the videos. They did a wonderful job putting this movie together.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
casting was
Yeah,
fantastic.
they
I'm
did
sure y'all
that.
already talked about it, but that the casting was fantastic.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Let me see what I have in this clip. Let me see what
Just
this
now.
is.
Label already signed up.
Look, listen. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what this is all about, but nobody told me you didn't know.
So that was when Johnny, like, I don't want to be in the middle of all y'all shenanigans. Like, I do not want to be in the middle of this, but you know, it was what it was. I think at the end of the day, I always go back to what was fated, and some things were fated. Johnny was fated to be in this group. I liked, you know, I liked when he wanted to put on the red dress too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't help but like Johnny, like this doggone voice, like it's something about it. And then I think I love how they are able to come back. That's why I always say they had such a true brotherhood, because even after all those years and all the shenanigans that Bobby did, all the stuff that went down, they were still able to come back together, do reunion tours and all this type of stuff. Like, even though, you know, stuff went down, they still somehow found their way back to each other. So I think that's what I truly liked about the group, is because you felt like it was a real group. You never knew all that stuff was really happening unless you was in the know. But
no, as a fan,
even now, EJ,
as a fan, I ain't know that stuff going on. No.
Even now, when this was filmed, when this came out originally, they was talking about how mad Ralph was, and he wasn't performing with them for some things.
Yeah, no, they were beefing during the time of the movie.
When this came out.
Yeah. I'm glad that they're all good now. I'm glad, and sometimes it takes time. Time heals all wounds, as they say. So it's they all in their 50s. They, it just took time. Some of them are grandparents. So they just take time to just let things, be bygones,
I was just sitting here thinking about every time Bobby try to perform now, I just be laughing. I'd be like, that ain't no my prerogative.
And those memes that you see online, he was doing that when I saw him. But we didn't care. We were screaming, go Bobby. It didn't matter. I'm like, I'm glad the brother's alive, because he's been through a lot in his life. So I mean, for him to just even kind of get up every day and be still performing, I mean, that's an applause right there. But he can't do it no more like he used to. Them days, that's gone,
That's
gone.
But that's once again, that whole entertainment aspect versus really having the voice. Because a lot of times these people don't lose the voice. The voice still be there. Like you were saying, Ralph right now can still blow, and he still got that voice. And I guarantee you, I don't know if Whatchamadooty ever I don't think I've ever really heard. Well, I don't know, because when we got BBD, I was in love with BBD too, y'all. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was all the versions of everything that they've done. I ain't even gonna lie. I think they were.
Well,
I think
after
they did well together.
After they released this album, that's when they all had their little solo careers. Johnny Gill came out with a solo album.
BBD, I was into BBD.
Probably with his second.
I was into BBD too, and I think a lot of people underestimated them. They wasn't expecting that much from them. Like I said, they thought Ralph would be, good solo. Bobby would be good solo. It was like, well, what is these three gonna do? We knew Johnny could do solo, but then when they came out, they had some joints. Like, I remember looking the hell out of that.
Mike and Ronnie can't sing, but they can rap and dance. They're the best dancers, so they
still had a good chemistry, even when it came
chemistry.
And they had Ralph, they had Ricky, so they was good.
Right.
Ricky could sing.
And they was good.
What's that song? Tell me when I can see you again, whatever.
Yeah.
I ran that song
again.
I think I still got the CD right here somewhere.
Oh God.
I got out. Hey guys, type in the chat. What was your favorite either New Edition song, BBD song, Johnny song, Ralph song? Like, what was your favorite one? Y'all go ahead and type in the chat. But yeah, I played that mess out. So we're gonna see, this iconic because this is where we get the album cover,
Yeah.
And most of us had like all of us I know had these doggone albums. You know what I'm saying? And you remember
every
them.
time they came out with an album, I was running to the record store getting the albums. I had the albums. Yeah.
And I think they was the most at peace probably since they was kids when this album came, because it was the sound they wanted, it was the look they wanted. They felt like we finally getting to be men. They said we want some untouchables,
Exactly, and they was doing what they wanted to do.
Right.
Doing the music they wanted to do, doing it how they wanted to do, adding their raps if they wanted to add it. They was
Exactly. Kendall brought up LSD.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
LSD. They know it. That's in there too.
LSD, yeah.
Man,
I love me some Gerald Levert too. Ooh, I love me.
Yeah, that was my baby. Big old teddy bear.
Yeah, I love me some Gerald. That voice.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So, BBD Monique 69 said, "When will I see you smile?"
That's the song to me. That's it.
Yeah, that's it right there.
My kind of girl, and hit me.
Yeah, it's so many
hit me
songs.
Up, I like that too.
It's just so many.
They had so many songs, so many hits,
so many. All right, yeah. So we're gonna get to the very end here. We're gonna wrap this up. So everybody's getting together, and I love this part when Johnny kind of he has this idea and he's saying it, and then Mike tries to throw in his 2 cents, but they just he just scores back on him like he's right there. They blended so well together. That's what I liked about seeing this movie, was seeing how well that this group actually did blend. Yes, we fight, but we also love hard. But we get the bomb that's going to drop right at the end is that we're about to go on a tour, but guess who coming?
Mr. Brown.
Oh yeah, Still in Love, Derry. Oh
yes,
I love that song. They had so many bangers.
I can't even just name one.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Name 1 or 2. Yeah, I can't even do that. It's just too many.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you, because every time I hear "Can You Stay in the Rain," I don't know. I get in my feelings. I don't know what it is. I be like,
yes, it's no denying their talent and the mark that they made, no matter what.
Absolutely. Suburbia said "Candy Girl" and "Love You the Right Way." Oh,
yeah.
Johnny was destined to be in the group.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah,
I thought he was a good fit.
I don't think you could have put any.
I'm talking about right the initial looking at it. I was like,
right.
But then after you hear the album and all that, I was like, oh, I was sold then.
Okay, exactly. I don't think you could take anybody else and put them in there. I just feel like this was the right fit. Like it was just meant to be. Even the whole Bobby thing and him going solo, because he had to find his path. And then when he does all this, you got to think about it. There's this whole path that he takes with Whitney, and
that's a whole nother
like it's so many things that happen because of all of these decisions that happen. Everything else kind of do
and
you know what I'm saying?
Johnny came into a bunch of mess.
Yeah, he did.
Going on from the beginning. He had nothing to do with other stuff. When he came into a bunch of nonsense and mess, with the record label and everything. So
exactly. I agree, Savannah. I wholeheartedly agree. New addition to this generation, as the Jackson 5 for the previous generation.
Well, not this generation. I know, but I know what she means.
That means our generation.
Our generation. Yeah. This generation, there is no more groups out here now. So
this particular generation don't have groups. They don't have
same group, girls, guys. They don't have bands. Like we work with bands. Like Earth, Wind and Fire and Commodores, not bands. There's no bands.
Even the bands that could play music, not recycling all these beats over.
You had your After Sevens. You even had your groups that were like just you. I mean, they may not just been like majorly big, but they were just still so good. Like
Like
you know,
Guy and SOS Band.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
I grew up with bands. Like we had bands, you know. I mean, I loved everybody, but they now these people now, these younger ones now, they don't have it. You know.
Mhm.
let's see what Jocelyn said. I can watch this movie 24/7, and
Me
I
too.
love New Edition. I go see them every time they're in my city.
Mhm.
Still in Love is my favorite, and
Yes.
Bobby. Oh, Tenderoni.
Yes.
Girl,
But that whole album, ladies, that
Yes.
whole Bobby Brown album,
Mhm.
man, you
Yes.
can play it front to back, inside out, and
Yes.
there's no skip. You know, how some
Like,
albums
you
you
could play a
it's
whole
no
album
skip.
from the beginning to the end.
Mhm.
Beginning to the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can still play it now, just like it's a brand new
Definitely.
album. You know, so
Absolutely. I ain't even gonna lie to you. There are certain albums that I'm just like, okay, this song, this song, this song. And I was glad when CDs came out, y'all, because cassette tapes you had to fast forward.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
But like, you know, it's just certain ones. But Bobby Brown, that album, like that was a play all the way through type of album for me to
Mhm.
All the way. All the way.
Yeah.
I still had
Yeah.
cassettes then.
Yeah, so
Yeah. I mean, I had the cassette. Then when it transitioned to the
Don't judge me,
CD,
y'all.
I had to
I
go back
just
to CD.
recently threw out my cassette tapes. I had a thing on my wall that had
Girl, I
all
would've
my
kept
cassette
them.
my
tapes
Yeah,
goodness.
no, I've been
I
got rid of the
just
cassette,
threw
but I
those
still got
out.
some
But
CDs
I
though.
still got
got my
CDs.
I
I
still
still
got my
got CD.
and
Yeah,
I still got
Still got
videos.
CD.
I
Don't
got
judge me.
some, but I don't have as many as I used to have.
No, I got rid of a
And
lot
y'all
of
know
them
what I
over the
used to
years.
love about the cassette tapes was the cassettes and the CDs,
Reading them.
or the songs on the inside.
My albums are back in style now. I'm thinking about getting me another record player, give me some albums again.
That's
One of my
what's up, but you
girlfriends
know-
got her a record player and bought some albums. And I said, it's nothing like the sound of an album. When you put that
That's
meat
true.
on the
That's
album.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
So-
brother had one, and that's how I was like, my brother had he had a record player, and my granny had one, and all she did was listen to blues all the time. So the Coke, what do you call them? The Coke 45s, whatever they were, the little bitty records.
Oh, you mean a 45?
Yeah,
You mean a 45?
Yeah, and then you got to put that thing on in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And,
45. Yeah.
she used to listen to those all the time. So
I had plenty of
knew all the
45s
blues
too.
songs.
I love my 45.
She had so many of them. Like it was so crazy. So you're right. It's nothing like listening to
I used to spend my
music.
Saturdays, me and my girlfriend, my best friend Angie, we would go to the record store. Even if we ain't had no money, we just sit there flipping through records all day on,
And just
on
reading
Saturday.
and listening to stuff, right?
I
used
telling
to
you.
do that with my friend worked that version. We used
The
to go
Cow
there.
Records, Waxy Maxie, the Wiz,
Mhm.
all these record stores. The old school mom and pop record stores. I loved it. Yeah. You can still find a few of them here and there, but it's not like it used to be.
They need to just bring back records altogether. I'm with you on that. Like they just
they back around, but it's more expensive now because that's why if you didn't throw out your records, that's a great thing if you didn't throw your records out because
somebody asked Tamika, did she? It sounded like she just threw them out. I don't know if she sold them.
But yeah, the cassettes. I've been got rid of the cassettes a long time ago.
Yeah, I
don't even have nothing to play the cassettes on.
I ain't got nothing to play them on. I think I made still some. I think I got one somewhere, and I think because in that Jodeci, y'all, I was a huge Jodeci fan too. So when Jodeci came out, Forever My Lady,
yes, that first album was fire.
Take the breaks off of that thing, and I remember getting the cassette tape to that, and then later
I had the cassette of Jodeci too. Yeah, I had the cassette of Jodeci, and I wore it out. Another
one I wore out was Keith Sweat. The 10 Commandments, I believe it was. I wore that out.
The one
I wore out the first Keith Sweat.
The first one, Make It Last Forever.
Yeah, that
was
that's when
and they played that at my prom. Make It Last Forever. That's how I always remember that CD because that was
baby making music right then. If you didn't end up pregnant back listening to that stuff, boy,
Lord have mercy. Or you was, even if you ain't get pregnant, but you was trying to do something, So you was trying to do something.
Trying to act like you want to make a baby.
Oh, and here go one more. I was into Al B. Shore back in the day too. That Al B. Shore album. I wore that cassette out.
Al B. Shore guy.
Tamika, I
God.
wore it out, girl. I wore it out.
Yeah,
And
I'll
you
be
remember
sure. Definitely was
them
rocking in
cassettes,
here.
you know how they get unraveled and you gotta run them back
Yes.
together.
You gotta do the
Uh-huh.
Yes.
and
Boy,
be
those were
mad
some good old
if
days.
the tape player like eat it up. Like, man, I used to be so upset, y'all. Like,
Or you gotta take a pencil and do like
Yeah,
this
get a
with it.
pencil. I used to know how to put them back together. The tape
Me
pop.
too.
and
I
all
used to
this
know.
stuff.
I was like a
too.
doctor with
I used to
it.
record.
You know how you get
over
twisted?
stuff. I used to record over my mothers and them stuff. I said,
Put
I used to do that
paper in
too.
there.
Put a little paper
I
in
did
there,
that
and
too.
then
because you
that's
always
so
record from the
crazy.
radio. You know, you always record from the radio.
And you
Yeah,
got to make sure everybody be quiet. Like, don't be coming up in here talking, while I'm
No,
trying to
because you be trying
record.
to make your
Nah,
own little.
you could tape it off the radio when it wasn't making no noise, like where they couldn't hear what was going on.
Because we be trying to make our own little mixtapes. That's how
Yeah,
we.
and dubbing them. Oh, and that was
We used to
something when a
make our
guy
own little
gave you a
mixtape.
tape they made for you. Be like, yeah. You be like,
Because everybody made tapes so you could play at the parties. Because we went to house parties on Friday nights and stuff like that. Saturday we went to parties, and so. And in DC, we listen to go-go, so we would be going to the go-go's too. So we had to have our tapes, and them tapes would fly around.
I bet y'all had good outfits too with go-go.
Oh, we always had matching outfits, especially if you're going everybody would go in groups, so sometimes you had matching outfits. It was we and I look back at pictures now, we probably were a hot mess, but we thought we was sharp back then.
I think
we
thought we
was
vouch
sharp.
for me when I know with Latin quarters, we got outfits for that to go there.
Yeah, you got to get dressed up to go to these places. Like you wore your nice stuff,
Have on the freshest sneakers.
Yes.
Man.
And get your hair done. You better have your hair looking right. Yeah.
Okay. Man, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I should go to a party. Like I feel like I'm about to go listen to because y'all know my playlist is stuck. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. My playlist is stuck. It does not come everything old school.
That's what I listen to.
To the point where my daughter is she knows all old school music. Like that's all she knows.
That's why I raised my son on.
Yeah, that's how my son is too. Yeah,
her playlist is like that too. And I'm like, girl, what you know about this? What you got this in your playlist for? She said, you know why?
Yeah, my son and my niece is like that. We went to a party one time and my aunt and them was like, how you know the words? He was like, because my mother and my grandma.
That's right. And that's how I knew the words to early Motown songs or stuff when I wasn't even born. These songs, I know all the words. I could sing all the, do dance steps and all that because you learn it from your parents. Whatever they was listening to, you was listening to. Because you wasn't like these kids now think they grown. They be trying to change the radio. And all. You didn't do that back then. You touch the radio or the 8-track player or whatever we had at the time, you ain't touching it. I mean, they looking at you crazy if you touching it. You might get slapped in the mouth.
Can you highlight Monique's comment?
Yeah, that just had me cracking up.
Yeah. Got a good ass group and record on my grandma Kelly said.
I was doing the Lord's work.
Oh, wait a minute. The grandma R. Kelly. Okay, I see. Oh, look.
Hey,
no, R. Kelly got some good.
Listen, you ain't gonna never get me to say that
I ain't gonna. I'm not listening. I still got I got R. Kelly CDs. I don't pull them out all the time listening to them, but if a song come on, I listen. I still love R. Kelly music. Now, when he did other stuff, I don't condone none of that. But
yeah, you have to be able to separate.
Yes, Savannah, In the Rain by Keith Sweat. I remember it was a guy I had the crush on that I went and with my little boom box and was dancing for him outside.
Y'all know the song that I used to love, and it's so crazy because I think that's what's so different about music then is because music made you feel something. It was so relatable, and you can always go back to even now as we're talking, you can go back to moments because I remember when Troop song came out. There was this boy at school that I was just in love with.
Yes.
And every single time it felt like that song was made for me because I would just be looking at him, and every time I would think about the what was it? I can't wait to get to school. Like I would just, girl, I just be in like I'll be hard on that, and every time I listen to that song, girl. I mean, I don't know. It's just timeless. Like that music, you can just go back to moments. Like you just remember certain things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You remember where you was or who you was with, or you know, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's definitely taking down memory lane.
Yeah, how deep is your love, Candle?
Yeah, that whole album was everything. Yeah.
Y'all know what another album that I always call it the one hit wonder album, but it was like a great album or whatever CD or whatever. But do y'all remember Rome? Do y'all remember?
Yes. He had one. He was a one-hit wonder.
And I ran it in the ground.
I'm gonna listen to that song when we get off this thing. That was
he made the other song, You Lied to Me.
That whole album, I was like, I don't think I ever had heard of a one-hit album, but I was like,
I don't know what happened to him after that album.
Yeah, watch it.
He did another one, but it wasn't good. Girl.
Yeah, a lot of songs.
Oh, my love to you. Yes, yes.
It was something about 90s. Like you'll never get
wait a minute. I had Milli Vanilli CD back. Yes, I had the CD. This was before I knew that they had lip sync and all that.
Of course, you bought it when that song was out. Girl, you know it's true. When they was
I had that out. That's a jam. I used to be doing the housework vacuum in a jam.
Sorry, but Blame It on the Rain was bomb. I ain't gonna lie to you. I still listen to that.
Rome album was everything. I agree.
Rome had a good album. It's just so much like when we think about 90s, like 90s stuff, like you had Shy, but they was another one, but they had that one. What they had?
I wasn't into all their music. I just knew that one song they had that was real.
Yeah, I think they had just maybe.
I wasn't into that,
but.
Yeah, I used to be rocking them, and I definitely used to be rocking Ready for the World.
Yeah.
Oh yes, with the and see, I ain't like no with jerry curls, but I did like them.
You know who else I like? Climax.
Oh yeah, female group. Yeah, they was bad too. I had that album,
and they was an all girl band.
I had the cassette. It was a cassette I had. Yeah.
I used to love that one part where they said,
their album was fire.
You're the heart, I am the era. Come shoot me. I used to love that doggone.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Those are good memories.
I'm telling you, the 80s and 90s had real good music. That's the best hip hop. That's the best R&B music.
Yep. Agreed.
And I love my 70s and 60s and 70s stuff too. You know, in that 70s that I do like, you know, like all like the funk era. I love all that. But that R&B, them love song, man, them 80s and 90s. They just don't.
Secret Lovers, girl. And that still remember that. My brother had that album.
All that stuff is good.
Yeah, like I had Atlantic Star, SOS Band.
Yes.
Climax. What's the other one? The Gap Band.
Wait a minute.
All those bands back in the day.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You said SOS, Atlantic
Sky.
Star. Yes. It was somebody else I'm thinking of. Hey, I can't think right now. But yeah, you right. All them
they had. That was a real good one that Atlantic Star had. It was another like real popular one. I think it was Always.
Atlantic Star had all their songs were good.
Secret Love.
Those greatest hits or something like that. Atlantic Star. They got hit after hit after hit.
Hit after hit.
Yeah, they had really good songs. They had good songs.
Their first probably 4 albums was good.
My brother loved them.
I love them.
That's how I knew who they was, because my brother had those albums and he always playing them.
And I had and don't talk about the barges. Candy loved talking about the barge. I was in love with them the barge.
Me too.
Yeah, you couldn't tell
some good music.
I loved all of them. I loved everybody.
And that was all from the guy from the Silvers.
That was the barges were good.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie because one of my other
H-Town
favorites,
knocking the boots. Oh yes.
oh my goodness, oh man, H-Town and y'all,
Yeah.
and, whatchamacallit, high five like that. Oh,
Yes,
good.
yes.
Oh,
H-Town
good
had some
group.
good I mean, they had good music. Yeah.
H-Town and High Five. They was
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, and High Five. Oh man,
I had that.
both
I
of them
had
had
that
tragic
CD.
situations with them and their stories, but
they did.
yeah, they had but High
Those
Five.
are some stories I would love to see too. Like even if they just made them like off some little,
because they're on
like
songs of
lifetimes.
tragic. Yeah, they're on song stories with tragic.
Yeah, I've seen their
Mhm.
unsongs. That's why I would like to see, like, if they like recreated them into like a lifetime, nothing major, a BET Plus original or something. I don't know, whatever. I would still be here for
BET
it.
should do more. The only
I
way
would
they
definitely
did
watch
audition,
it.
they should do some more.
Exactly.
Who would
I
y'all
really
want to
think that
see
Kissing
next?
Game, girl,
If
yes.
you could, whose story as a group would you want to see next?
What about Jodeci?
I was just gonna say
love
that.
a Jodeci.
Jodeci's story is still going on now. Like they still going through stuff. You know what I mean? So, I mean, health stuff they going through right now, and all kind of stuff. So I like to, that definitely like to see.
Yes, the meeting in my bedroom, girl, and Freak Me, Baby.
Y'all not even talking about Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge is a good story that we could probably do too. Jagged Edge story.
Yeah. When you get to the beginning of the 2000s, like all the 90s,
the beginning of 2000s,
but the very beginning of the 2000s,
the very beginning. I say between 2000 to maybe before 2010, like that early 2000s. That first early, 2005 and all that. Yeah, they was. Yeah, Silk was everything.
Silk was good. You had your TLCs. They were at the height of their stuff. You had your and then when you go back, because I used to love me some Karen White, y'all. Like I still got Superwoman in my thing.
Superwoman.
That was a good CD too.
Yeah,
she had a lot of good music too.
I didn't have her CD, but I did love Superwoman. That's still my song to this day. I love that song.
It's one of my favorite songs of hers was God, never. What is it?
I like Love the Way You Love Me.
Yeah, I like. Okay, that she had a really good. She has go back and listen to her entire go stream it or something, Inga. But she has some good stuff like Karen White.
No.
Yeah, I love Karen White.
Once again, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Really?
Yeah, she got
Chevelle too. Jimmy Jam.
She got a child with Terry Lewis.
Alexander O'Neal.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. But they got a child together.
Okay. See, let me tell y'all, they could not be around for social media back then. I ain't gonna lie, social media couldn't be around back then. We know everything. We know all their business. Like we know everybody's business.
Yeah. I mean, see, we used to read all the magazines, like Right On magazine and and all that. So we used to, that was
but we didn't know about their kids. We didn't know about them having babies and all of that stuff.
Yeah, you would hear about it years later. You wouldn't hear about it in the current time. Yeah. But you know what was my jam too? Secret Garden.
Yeah, that back on the block, that was a good
album. Was a good
album because it showed a variety of everything. It had jazz.
Yeah,
it had R&B, it had hip hop. That was a good CD that Quincy Jones came out with.
Absolutely.
Shit, I remember Tevin Campbell.
Quincy Jones music is fire anyway.
Okay, because I was like, look at Tevin Campbell. Tevin Campbell had hits. He
got hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
He got lots.
And he still could blow.
He still can sing.
Yes, he can
I just saw him on YouTube or Instagram or something when he was singing and something. I said, "Go ahead." He, ain't look good at age and everything.
Yeah,
he took care of himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, those were definitely.
Everybody digging in the crates now. They named everybody.
Look, they done went in.
Now, I wasn't big on the John B like that.
And
he was
speaking of Tony, they
John
back together,
B was good. That was
a new album.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think they're on a reunion tour or something.
They coming out with a new album too.
Yeah, I liked him too. I saw him a couple of years ago before my husband passed. We used to always go to free concerts in Central Park. And John B, Joe, It was a couple of
I've
them
seen
that was
Joe.
there.
I've seen Joe before. Yeah.
What's her name? Jasmine Sullivan, Stephanie
Ooh, I love
Mills. A bunch of them was there. I got it on my you know, what you call it, camcorder. And I was like, oh, okay, John B. Still sounding the same.
Okay.
Oh, and
That's
Mint
what's up. I
Condition,
don't
they
Make
were great in
condition,
concert.
yeah.
I seen them live, and they are
They
fantastic.
could sing their behinds off.
Yes.
They had great groups though back. Like they had so many good like honestly, shoot, I think that's why you love video so much because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. When the video era came in,
Yeah, I used to
was that
take the
person.
videos, and my
Me too.
friend used to
I
make
used
fun
to
of
have
me.
them on right up until I got hurt. I used to listen to watch videos in the morning, getting ready for work.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love
love
watching videos.
Just let
And
me
I
play.
don't find myself going to videos as much now because I don't really listen to a whole lot of music. Like when I hear music now, I hear it from TikTok because when I say that my playlist is stuck in the 90s, it literally is stuck in the 90s.
I'm stuck in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. So I hear the new stuff, but I'm not invested into it.
Yeah, I can't even tell you who the new
First of
people
all,
are.
I don't even like some of the stuff that's coming out of people's mouths, you know. Like people don't know how to sing love songs. They just talking about
they just talk. It's no imagine. They don't leave anything to your imagination.
No,
They just talk about what they want, how they want it done, and who they want to do it with them, and how much they gotta have, and all of that other stuff.
Which is why my playlist stay in the 90s. Except for I will come out for Usher because you know when my Usher gets something, when he plays something, I come out and listen to it.
He got a couple of new songs. They hot too.
Yes, with the Donnie Simpson video soul. Yes.
Yeah, I used to tape those. I used to tape all of them.
Did. That's when BET was good back then.
Yes.
I'm not into BET too much now. I don't really watch BET.
Yeah.
But that was when it was good back then.
Y'all remember when Whatchamadoodie came out? It was two songs that I would run every time I would hear these songs. One of them was when Boyz II Men came out with "I'll Make Love to You." Every doggone time I heard that come on, the video come on, I was running. And then for whatever reason, when Nate Dogg and Warren G had one. No, that's what you do. What was it? What was the Nate Dogg and Warren G? Regulators. When Regulators would come on, I would run to the dog. Like I had to see those doggone videos. I don't know what it was, but I love the video era. I wish we could get back to a video era where videos are good and like they told stories and you wanted to see them and you were like invested in them. Like I don't know, it was just different because I remember like looking at videos all the time.
Yeah, all the time. We had the box
the day.
Video soul,
video music box.
Yes, all these things. I mean, but then we had videos on 24/7. That's back when MTV used to show videos. BET showed videos.
I don't know what they did with they just.
MTV is like just reality shows now. It's not even music. I don't know why they call it music television no more because it's not that. I don't even know why they keep doing the MTV Awards because there's no music on it. You know, they ain't talking about nothing. So, but those were the days. I mean, we still got the memories, and you can find the old stuff on YouTube. You can find old clips of the things, of the shows and stuff. So.
Yeah, I still don't look at videos.
Like I watch on Paramount Plus. My son and I have been watching the old versions of Yo MTV Raps. Yo MTV Rap. We watched the old ones on Paramount Plus. You can find them all of them.
Oh yeah,
all of them. To check that out.
Fire Freddy with Ed Lover, Dr. Dre. It's a whole bunch of them.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. I got Paramount Plus too.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
I've been watching.
I have to check that out.
It is. Yeah, just take me back to those times. It just take me back.
Yeah, well, all right, ladies. Well, we have been up here for a little bit over an hour. We had to we had to take it back, y'all, because I don't know, just something about that era is just something else. It's just such nostalgia. We need to do, I don't know. I just wish we could play music sometimes. Like I just wish YouTube didn't have like such a stickler on that type of stuff.
That's a question I have for y'all because y'all have pages. Maybe y'all know the answer to this. Why is it that some people's pages can play music? They don't get shut down. But if y'all just play a little clip of something, they want to shut your page down. How is it some people can get away with it and others can't? Because I've
always
gone on
like
many
that.
other
Your
people's
guess is
random
as good
pages
as
and just they
mine.
play music.
Yup.
Because I definitely see those pages. Because I be on there listening to them. I'll be like, okay, they got
Me
my
too. That's what I'm
videos
saying.
here.
They be showing videos and showing playing music and all kinds of stuff. Oh, and I gotta ask y'all before we get off. Moochie or Tamika asks, did y'all used to date dudes that had the little ducktail in the back?
Girl, I think
I have went out with a
has
kid in high school that had that. I went out with a kid in high school when I was in
I didn't do the ducktail.
10th grade.
No, I ain't fool with the ducktail.
He had the shag, not the ducktail.
Yeah,
he had that little
shag,
like,
little shag.
The one that I was listening to, I can't wait to get to school each day.
Oh, and not for nothing, my ex-husband
he
had the long
ducktail.
braid in the back.
Oh, the long braid. Okay.
Yeah, he cut it after my son was born.
Yeah. Oh, so he had that one little braid going down the back. Oh, okay.
And
I ain't fooled with the Jerry curl either.
It wasn't a Jerry curl. He didn't have the. Yeah, I don't like Jerry curls, but
oh, you mean like the S curl?
Hair,
they probably had like little S curl kit they put in their hair.
Then he had the little tail in the back. I'll never forget it. Shout out to you if you still around. Shout out to you. You know who you are. And the crazy part about it is that you actually know his name, but I won't say his name. But I do know his name. That's what's so crazy about it.
Child, when we see these clowns now from back in the day, dudes that we thought was fine, we see them now 30 years later. Say, this Negro is not cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, why was I looking at him?
I actually said that. I actually did see him, and I said, "Okay."
Yeah,
and then I just kept it pushing. I was like,
why was I looking at him? He was not cute.
So
but we ain't know no better. We was 11, 12, 13. We ain't know no better.
Definitely.
We ain't know no better.
So funny.
Savannah said, I had a Jerry curl. Never again.
Girl.
My
daddy used to rock them.
My sister used to put people Jerry curls in. My older sister used to put the Jerry curls in everybody's head. Like she relatives, my father and mother and father's friends would come over. She was putting them rollers, a whole 1,000 bunch of rollers in everybody's head. She used to know how to do the Jerry curls. So everybody came to my sister to get the Jerry curl. That stuff would stink up the whole kitchen too.
I was gonna say it used to smell really bad.
It used to stink,
and it used to leave stains on like your sofas and stuff like that. Like you can always tell when people like that Jerry curl juice.
Like going coming to America. Yes, it was just like that. It was just like that. Yes, and be stained up your clothes.
Exactly. That was crazy. And my daddy was so crazy about it is that he still was before he passed away, he was still wearing his I'm like, I said people still do this. Like, Daddy, let it go. Let this curl go. Let it go. He'd have his curl, like he still rock his fedoras, or he would have cowboy hats, because my daddy wore like gaiters and stuff like real like boots, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know it's crazy because I'm in Texas, and I know people think that that's what people do in Texas. It just so happened that he really did, but that's not what actually goes down. But he really did. But he had swag with his, like, you know what I'm saying?
He wasn't letting it go.
He had that swag with his. But anyway, ladies, it has been fun. This was definitely a throwback. This was definitely something to go back and have a lot of memories with. I know we're all probably going to jump off of here and start listening to our old school, because I'm definitely going to turn my playlist on. Got my headphones already ready to go.
I'm going to find that room. I'm going to listen to that.
Yes, listen to it. And then next week, we are going to be doing the third part of this. So make sure you guys come back so we can do the third part. Moochie, what you got going on your channel, girl?
Well, speaking of the third part, I will be doing the third part of New Edition, y'all. So we are going to have fun with that. I'm also going to be dropping a couple of videos, so please keep your notifications on. Tomorrow we do have trending topics, and we got to talk about it. Clink, clink. The mugshot is out. Trump is arrested. Anywho.
Okay. All right. What you got going?
I'm gonna give me a free Trump t-shirt.
You're so silly.
It look bugged out, his mugshot.
Oh my goodness. What you got going on, Tamika?
I just uploaded right before we got on here. I uploaded all the Queen's Men recap, Zatima recap. Tomorrow I'll have up the Shy and I guess Love During Lockup. Saturday is trivia night, y'all. So we will be discussing throwbacks and groups and some of the same stuff on Saturday. Join me, movies, music and all that good stuff. And Sunday is Throwback Sunday. It's coffee. Okay, we're gonna be getting.
Oh, that's this Sunday? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Pam Quiz going down.
Okay. Okay.
Join
And Tamika
us.
be making those trivias getting hard and hard.
Hey, that's how it's supposed to be. You start out easy and move your way on up. Now you gotta really dig deep and think about it. But yeah, so on my channel, honestly, y'all, I'm so behind on so much. It's so crazy, but I'm gonna try to get my All the Queen's Men actual full review. I have a quick thoughts of it up, but I gotta get the full review, and then I still have to look at Zatima, so I can do that one. And then Tamika and I think we're doing Tuesday. And I believe are we doing not what time we doing? I don't know what time we doing. Just keep your notifications on because I can't remember what time we decided, but we're gonna be doing Zatima. And then of course all the Queen's Men on Sunday. Y'all already know we got 2 episodes left. So if you are into that show, then definitely come and check us out with the Virtual Club Eden. It is definitely a vibe. We have a lot of fun doing that one. And then of course we got Power coming back up. I think didn't you just do a breakdown, Moochie, on your channel?
No, it's coming tomorrow. Remember, I got locked out.
Okay,
so.
okay, got you. Okay, so yeah.
When I was gonna go earlier, somebody was going that they had already said it, so I just switched it to tomorrow.
Switched it up. Okay. I keep seeing it pop up, and I was like, I didn't know if it was, but no worries. So yeah, so I'm gonna do my Power breakdown at some point. I didn't get to finish the whole rewatch. I rewatched it myself, but I just didn't do videos for it. I just looked at it. So
I hope season 2 is better than season 1.
It looks like it's gonna be good.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm a watch
I hope
it.
They don't have
I don't want y'all calling me
a
a hater or nothing. I'm gonna watch it, but I can't rewatch. I told Pretty Girl, I said I'm not rewatching season 1. I don't want to go back and watch it again. I'm gonna just start with season 2.
Yeah, I actually rewatched it up to episode either 6 or 7 because I think I was jumping on with EJ sometime when she was doing it. And so I had no intentions on rewatching it, but out of the episodes I saw, I was like, it's maybe 3 or 4 that was decent, and the other ones was like, I definitely expected more. But I think they're gonna do better with season 2. I got hope.
Yeah, hopefully they heard all our cries, all our complaints and concerns and everything.
Because it feels like they brought in a whole nother cast, Inga. Like it feels like they brought in a lot of people. And it feels like it's.
I haven't seen the trailer yet. I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know. I don't know anything yet.
The trailer and some of the clips. You know how they like to do, put out the clips and stuff. Like you definitely. And then they had like one clip where they're showing people who actually looked at the preview of it as well. And some of them were actually saying it was giving them OG Power feels. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think they brought on somebody from the original Power too, because before this person was nothing to do with Power. So with the first season.
Oh yeah, and you can tell. And you can tell that they had nothing to do with the first. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah.
So
that would be good. They need to bring the showrunner and all the people.
The showrunner. He's the one from the OG Power. I can't think of what his name is. Gary something. I can't think of.
Yeah, you're right. Gary something. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So he's in it. It looks like it's gonna be good though.
Okay, but that's promising.
It looks
good.
Because
we're gonna be covering that too. We're gonna see where it's gonna go.
Okay, I'll be right there. And I'm gonna tell y'all, so far, what's this episode 4 now of the Shy? Of the Shy, the drop today, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be coming out tonight.
Yeah. I haven't. Yeah, I don't know about the new one, but the first 3 that I've seen, I like this season so far. The first 3 episodes I've seen, compared to the last 2 seasons, which I didn't like. So far this season of the first 3 episodes I've seen of the Shy I like. So hopefully they also heard our
Right.
Complaints and changed up too. So
I know Lena Waithe heard your complaints because she got a whole video where she thanks everybody, even the people who didn't have such great things to say. You're still part of the Shy family, as she says.
Yeah, no, I like the Shy. Like seasons 1, 2, 3, I can get with. 4 and 5 just didn't do it for me. And we all complained about. We was all watching it, and everybody. It wasn't just me. Everybody was complaining.
Oh yeah, everybody was complaining.
So
that whole mayor situation.
First of all, these first 3 episodes I like. So hopefully they on the right path. So we shall see.
Yep.
No, but this definitely was fun, ladies. Thank y'all for always having me.
Of course. It's always a pleasure having you. You can always come on anytime.
Yeah. I want to come back and finish it off the third one. So
all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, make sure Moochie will.
I mean, wait a minute. Oh, y'all got braids. I ain't got no hair. I gotta give me a wig with some braids and stuff. I gotta give me a wig with some braids. Everybody got the braids.
Yeah, we do all have braids.
I just realized that.
Yeah. And everybody like they just got them done too. All y'all think y'all just got y'all braids done.
Well, Moochie's is fresh. Mine,
Tamika's look fresh.
Old.
Tamika got the curls on the end. Yours look fresh. You just get them done.
Yours look fresh.
Yeah,
too.
I got them done this morning actually, right before mine. I like them.
You fresh. I'm the one that's looking old. I'm gonna go.
You are not looking old. Stop.
All you gotta do is oil it and spray it down.
Yeah, I'm spraying it down.
And you tied up at night, right? Tied up. Yeah.
Except for last night, I fell out. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just went. Or either I try to put my bonnet on, or
I still bonnet.
Trying to preserve
the scarf on, so it can
preserve it. But I like yours, Lucy. That's so pretty.
I like it.
I like
that's
yours.
Okay, she can throw it around.
I can't stop playing with mine. I don't know what it is. I'm not used to it. I just be playing with it. I be like over and over again. But they used to braid, so they don't even touch theirs. I'll be touching my hair.
Keep the braids,
But all right, ladies, as always, it's been fun, guys. Let me go ahead and shout out the chat. Y'all know how we like to do. Kendall was in the building. Always a pleasure. Yes. Kendall, Derry, Lady Virtue came through. Jay Alexander, Savannah was in the building. Thank you again for the super chats. We definitely appreciate you. Jocelyn came through. The big homie Brillo came through. He was in the building today as well. Inga is right here.
I still like to talk to the people too. So.
Candy Love came through. My big homie Candy. Thank you for coming through. Always appreciate you, girl. Let's see who else was in the building. I think that was LSW came through. Monique, of course, 69 Way. She always coming through. Suburbia definitely was up in the building today. And if I missed anybody, it wasn't on purpose. Y'all know your girl ain't got her glasses on, but she tried. Hey, Daria. She was definitely in the building as well. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been a great conversation, and we will catch you guys on next week. Make sure that if you're not subscribed to any of the people's channels up here, make sure that you are subscribed to the channels. Make sure you got your notifications turned on. We're doing a lot of things together. This go around for a lot of shows. So definitely keep your notifications on because you're going to be seeing our faces a lot. So until next time, guys. Peace.
Peace.
All right,